Let's go, baby. We're back. We are back.
Let's go.
Pick yourselves up, guys. Energy got to be on 100 tonight. It's game day. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the pregame show. As always, by Fubo TV, where you could watch this game on ESPN on Fubo TV and give a middle finger to Comcast. I don't know if that's their official slogan they want us using. Dude, give a middle finger to Comcast, but it's the unofficial
I gotta say,
slogan.
like, every minute that I watch television that I know is not flowing through the corroded veins of Comcast,
Feels
I feel
so
like
good.
it's
true.
giving me life.
It's so true, man. It's so true. Guys, we got a great show for you today because Game 4 carries some stakes to it. I can't wait to talk about what those stakes are. I also want to talk about Peyton Watson because the man keeps showing up, even though he's not in the games, but he keeps showing up. His score somehow rising by the day.
Reminds me of Ryan Green.
Better, you know what? You never
keeps
see him,
showing
but
up.
it keeps going. And I also have a bunch of little things about Murray, about Aaron Gordon, and Michael Porter Jr. I can't wait to discuss. But first, let me introduce the panel very quickly. I got Brendan Vogt with me today.
First time in my life, I tried rooting for the Boston Celtics today. Tatum started 0 for 8. Never again.
No, wait, did you want him to do better?
Yeah, it sounds like you need to
Hold on a
root
second.
for the Celtics.
Are you cursed to always get the opposite of whatever it is you're pulling for?
I mean, he hasn't won a title yet, but yeah, never again, though. That's all I'm saying.
All right, over here I got D-Line Co.
I'm ready, guys. I'm ready for this game. I'm ready to take what belongs to us in the Valley. Last game, I didn't see it happening for us last game.
Oh, no, is
Things
there a
are different.
vision update? Do we have a vision
No
update?
vision. I'm not, no official visions, but I will say a feeling.
Ooh, a feeling but not a
Yes.
vision. All right, over there, the man with the real wind in his hair, it's Ryan Green.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, no, good vibes. Bar's already popping. I got a good feeling.
I kind of have a good feeling, too. I think
Me
most
too.
Nuggets fans have a good feeling.
Me
So
too.
Nuggets never betray
Should that
us.
worry us?
Never betray us, Nuggets.
yeah. Should we all be worried now?
Hey, we're going to get to stakes here in a bit. But first, we have game notes from the arena.
Alrighty. Well, Michael Malone's not scared. He's not panicking either, and I wouldn't expect any big-time adjustments in Game 4. We're up 2-1. There's no panic, Malone said. There's not major game plan adjustments. It's just getting back to doing what we know we're capable of doing. What's the final message to the team tonight before they take the floor? Let's get back to Denver Nuggets basketball. As the focus has been pretty much all year for this team, it's on themselves. If they feel like they play the way they need to play, they'll walk out of there with a dub. But what does that mean, playing the way they need to play? Well, looking at Devin Booker, yeah, he's going to hit some tough shots, Malone conceded, but they're giving him way too many easy ones. Drop some numbers.
I love the numbers,
Booker
too.
has 27 points
Listen to
in
this.
transition in this series. And is it 20 in ISO as well?
23.
23 in ISO.
He has more points in transition than he does in isolation.
Tough.
So, yeah. You don't need a major adjustment. You need to guard Devin Booker a little.
And some
little.
of it, too, is
In
I'm sure
transition.
you saw this on rewatch. Like, just transition. Like, no one picked him up. It wasn't even, oh, the scheme's not there. It's like, you can't lose Devin Booker in transition.
Also 18 in the first quarter, Malone referenced, which is, we all know it. You get a guy in rhythm early on,
Yep.
they're going to start getting comfortable. They hit the tough shot. Like, he's a tough shot maker, but they're all better at tough shots when they've made 3 or 4 in a
Yes.
row. So early focus, I really think, goes a long way. And then the other thing is, this has been the Nuggets' MO for the Jokic era. Consistent focus isn't always there. And I think that's what Malone is getting at, is like, when you watch the tape, I think we all feel this way. When you go back and watch the tape, it wasn't one of those like, woe is us. It's like, yeah, they didn't do the little things, and
Yes.
they almost got away with it.
right.
But they didn't do the little things. And if you just do that, man, does it make up 7 points? I think absolutely.
I think it's obviously they went to Phoenix. Devin Booker stepped up, but I think it's the biggest difference between games 1 and 2 and 3. The discipline, the little things.
Yeah.
He also pointed out it was the first time they lost the Jokic minutes in the playoffs. What did that group not do? Well, they didn't score and they didn't defend.
That was the worst answer I thought he gave all year long. He was actually, I would call Malone short in this presser.
He was definitely
So
short.
here's the thing. Malone has been positive vibes,
Sure.
like, joking around with media, everything else. This was the first presser of the entire playoffs where I thought Malone was grouchy. Read into it what you will.
Not about the BS tonight, and even stuff that isn't BS. He was asked about David Adelman.
His guy.
He's gonna. Was it Toronto? Help
Yeah,
me out.
Toronto.
Yes. Toronto is seeking out permission to interview David Adelman. Michael Malone. Any response? We're just focused on Game 4 tonight.
You gotta love it when he won't even throw a bone to his trusted lead assistant. He's like, what do you think about him? Oh, he's a great guy. Somebody needs to pick him up because he's a great. No, none of that. He's.
Maybe
On to game 4.
Maybe he walked outside for 10 minutes.
You're right.
It was 120 degrees.
Dude, he's onto something here. He's onto something.
You also may have noticed that the Nuggets got Jock Landfilled in that game. What happened? He was just activity, offensive rebounding,
I appreciated
aggression.
that too.
So gross.
Jock Landale, right? That's his name. So that's something they got to match. And then finally on Jamal Murray, you have to give them credit, but also Jamal has to read the game. When he's drawing a crowd, when he has put 2 defenders on him, getting off that ball and trusting his teammates, which to his credit, we've seen him do time and time again, but something he needs to get back to tonight.
So, somebody on Reddit earlier today, I didn't have a chance to check the accuracy of this. I know for a fact that...
Let's spread it, though.
Yeah, for Murray has 8... Well, I know for this part I do know. Murray has 8 total assists to Michael Porter here. Somebody out there posted that he'd only passed to him 5 total passes in round 2, which is 3 games so far, 0 assists. It's an interesting one. Now, I think a lot of people, my wife included, by the way, my wife, every time I get home and talk to her about the game, you watch it, she's like, he's not passing to Michael Porter. I don't know if you saw that. And I was like, Brendan Vogt also on this hill over here. He's also here. But I don't buy into the conspiracy part of this, but I will say, to be successful, you're going to have to, this has to be a team win for the Denver Nuggets. I don't think the Nuggets, actually, I won't say I don't think they can. They can beat them in a 2-on-2 battle. Murray Jokic can outplay Booker, KD. But if you simulate that and say that's the formula, 50-50 or less for Denver. Those 2 guys are scorers. Denver wins on team basketball, and at their best, they squash teams that can't play team basketball. To me, I think if they win tonight, there's going to be heroics from key guys. But I think more than anything, it's got to be a team win game.
And I think a slightly more aggressive, although it can be overstated, coverage of Jokic in that game. He was moving the ball. He always does.
17 assists.
It was Jamal who wasn't. But I think they were much closer to a ball is popping game. Even Porter had a couple of those extra passes. KCP just missed them. They got to hit those shots, but they got to keep making those passes. And that is something they can do that Phoenix can't. Both teams can press their best player button as many times as they have to. But Denver can also press the team basketball button, and I think they need to in this game.
I like this though. Malone says that every time Murray plays poorly, he bounces back, and I expect him to bounce back in a big way tonight. Here's what's interesting about that. He had 32 points last game.
Yeah, it wasn't an off night.
Well, according to Malone, it was, though, and that's why it's interesting to me, is because it's not... I think Murray had a bad game, too, and I think he wanted to bounce back in Game 3 scoring-wise. And I think Malone's saying, we need to bounce back, but not like that. We need the all-around Jamal.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, like, Jamal Murray did, if you didn't watch the game, you looked at only the box score, you'd be like, that was a really good outing. Jamal Murray was not making good decisions in crunch time. Jamal Murray was not looking to get other people involved in the game as much as you'd like. Jamal Murray's duties on this team run far deeper than just scoring the basketball. He is the primary ball handler. He's the guy that has the ball in his hands to start off every possession. And there is like a lot of things that, things can get sticky, things can get kind of weird. I mean, if you looked on Twitter, God bless your soul, after that, I mean, it was just like, people were just like, oh, he's dribbling the air out of the basketball, blah, 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 blah. All the things that people say when they get mad at the point.
There were possessions. I highlighted one on the list where he took 27 dribbles in one possession. So
was he counting to 27?
Yeah, that's
and
cool.
it can be overstated.
24,
like, if you look at the shot distribution, I think Jokic had the most, then Murray, even Porter had 5, but it was moments. Like, Jokic was dominating. There were moments of the pick and roll where the beautiful thing about the two-man game is it feels like they can keep countering right up until the last second. And it felt like Murray was deciding these are me scoring possessions before the pick was even set. And
that I think that was honestly because in Game 1 he murdered Landry Shamet.
Totally.
And I think that in Game 3 he didn't play in Game 2, but in Game 3 I think he was like, oh, I got to do it again.
Yes.
Whereas like maybe not.
It actually is. There are nights where you can be the best player. Also, if Jokic just shoots 13 times in the fourth because he's open,
fair.
Cool, man.
Right.
Keep hitting him.
Right.
Yeah.
Keep hitting him.
Do you think Jamal passes more if Devin Booker isn't going off?
That's another part of this. Maybe. Maybe not. I mean, like I do think there was a little bit of a, I got to go at this. He's going, so I got to go.
Right.
And again, it's easy to get suckered into that. But again, Phoenix wins by their 2 best players having 40 points.
Yes.
That's what happened last game. Denver doesn't win by their 2 best players having 40, although if they did it, it would be pretty dope.
Sweet.
But they win more ways, and I think that's the big key for them. And then Aaron Gordon, one thing I'll say is, Aaron Gordon, I thought, had a very good defensive game, even though KD got to the line, and he had some BS foul calls. I think when you don't score, there's a tendency to think I need to be more aggressive on offense. I would love for him to make a few more shots, but to me, I hope it doesn't come at the expense of offense. His most important job in this series is limiting Kevin Durant.
That's fair.
And if he thinks like Murray did, I got to score a little more. I just don't know. In one hand out the other. It could be in one hand out the other. Let's talk about the stakes, though, guys, because
medium rare.
After game two, we had a little bit of
Everyone enjoyed the last appearance of Ryan Green on the pregame show, by the way.
We're feeling ourselves a little bit. I think, I don't want to say getting ahead of ourselves, but, you're feeling really good. And I think even with how game 3 went, you didn't expect to sweep the Phoenix Suns. But how that game went, if Denver loses tonight and it's 2-2, this is a 3-game series where Chris Paul comes back later. Devin Booker is so hard, and Kevin Durant are guys that are just in any given night can hit crazy, lucky, or not really lucky to them, but crazy shots there's nothing you can do about. To me, the swing between 3-1 and 2-2 is enormous.
Yes.
Not a must-win, because must-win means you're going to lose if you don't do it. But I would say this is a chance where Denver, in my opinion, all but closes the door on the Suns if they get a win, and makes this series really tough if you don't.
The finale in the Valley?
I couldn't imagine a team coming back from 3-1. It's impossible. It's hard to imagine.
I don't think it's even happened.
Yeah, it's impossible.
I think this really matters, especially the way the Phoenix Suns are built so top-heavy. It's just not that they couldn't come back from 3-1, but the Herculean effort that puts on the shoulders that's required of Booker and Durant is
the minutes,
insane.
The energy they'd have. They would be playing Game 7 basically 3 times in 5 days to come back.
And I think the Nuggets know it, man. And so far they've looked ahead of the curve in terms of being prepared. Game 3 they didn't, and there's something exciting to their turn to adjust now. What do they have? And I think even Jokic, and obviously they missed one, but Jokic saying why not both? They understand. They understand what it means to go and get at least one of these games. So I think they've earned the benefit of the doubt so far. I'm excited to see how this one goes.
Yeah, the other thing, the Suns have a built-in excuse. If they can look to themselves and be like, well, listen, we had to gut our team to get Kevin Durant. You sort of look to the next year. We can sort of build it back in. We got the guy we wanted. It's unrealistic to think that we could take it all this year. They can tell themselves all these stories that can lead to them letting off the gas a little bit. This is enormous. This game is absolutely enormous. If the Nuggets take this, it's just. I don't see a scenario where they could come back. The Nuggets came back 3-1 twice. That was in the bubble. The one difference between the bubble and non-bubble is that you didn't have a bunch of idiots from Denver screaming at you.
Well, but also travel. They didn't have to travel. They literally just walked to their hotel room.
Truly.
RG, what kind of energy do you expect Denver to be that locked in tonight to play this one with that energy?
Oh man, I think they're going to be locked in, but a lot like the Minnesota series, the Suns aren't going to be easy to kill.
Right.
It's just not going to be. We were talking about it earlier. There's we all kind of woke up feeling it may be a comfortable win. We've been seeing Golden State easily took care of the Lakers. We've been seeing big wins in the playoffs. But I just don't think we're getting that anymore. I don't think we're getting that anymore, at least in this series. I think Devin
you
Booker
might be right, though. I think the comfortable wins. Denver has 2 25-point wins in the playoffs.
Right, man.
I think they don't have a single other 25-point win.
Right. So, but again, if the way the Phoenix Suns win is if Devin Booker shoots 80% on 25 shots, then sure. I bet he does that once every 3 games. I don't know if it's this game.
It could happen. I'm very open to it. Booker doesn't even look tired.
He's locked in.
He doesn't even look tired.
He's locked
in. That's the thing. If he looked exhausted, I think KD, knock on wood, looks a little tired. I'm sorry in advance for his big game. But Booker just looks so fresh. He looks like he could do this all day. Now, some of this is in Denver's control. There's a difference between guarding a guy and locking a guy down. I don't think the latter can be done. I do think you can make it harder than Denver did in Game 3. And the margin for error for Phoenix is slim. We know that. So be the aggressors, play a little better defense, and put the pressure back on the Suns here.
I think this is the biggest game of the playoffs for the Nuggets so far.
Yep,
a lot of that is because they just haven't had a big game yet. This one, not the biggest game. I think there will be bigger games ahead. Actually, I know there will be bigger games ahead. But at this very moment, it's the biggest game, and I'm so curious to see what kind of energy Denver comes with. Let's move on now to Peyton Watson, who's having himself a week, guys. His Q score rising through the roof. Paul
P
George has a
score.
podcast, first of all, which I had no idea.
I think he's
Dude,
pretty
everyone
good
has
at
a
it.
podcast. You know how
are
easy
good,
it is to do a
though.
podcast?
The clips look good. I might
The clips
check it
look-
out.
I've told you guys I'm a Paul George fan. I get the reasons to hate him, but I like Paul George. I like him in spite of himself. But let's play the clip of what he had to say about Peyton Watson.
Another sleeper for you. I had a chance to play against this kid this summer. I'm working out against him. And I didn't know who he was, but he's competing.
I heard it.
And he's talking, he's trash talking, and he's backing it up. Like he's showing well in
What
the
was the
gym.
comp he gave
And
again?
come to find out,
That's
it was
right.
Peyton Watson.
What position?
20-year-old, he's small forward. Young cat. But he's going to be good.
What you compare him to?
He's kind of got like a Brandon Ingram game. Like long wing. He's got that like slow pace game. He's long, he's tall, he can shoot over you, can handle it, 3-point shot. I think he's going to be a stud, but you know, he's got to wait his time. He's going to be really good when he gets his opportunity. Just remember that name.
Peyton Watson. Y'all heard the name. Don't sleep on it. You just been rated PG, baby.
Well, there you go. All right, so, and you can find that other clip of the Sombor, just play it in the background here, because he was doing the Sombor shuffle. We talked about it, I think, a couple shows back. Him working out with Jokic, giving Jokic a big hug, giving him some love on social media, even though it was one of those things where he shouted out, Jokic is not on Twitter, so, like, who is he really telling that to?
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody do that, like, on Facebook. They're like, I just want to say happy birthday to my wife. She's not on Facebook, but I just
Happy
want to
Mother's
say,
Day, Julie Doran. She's like, she's not online.
Yeah, it's like, what are we doing
Who are
here?
you doing this for? Yeah.
The worst part is when couples communicate to each other via Facebook.
Yeah, they're message, but not
You're
to
like,
yeah. What are we
aren't you
doing here?
together?
Yeah, aren't you guys in the same room here?
It's a plant.
Nonetheless, we're not going to dog on P-Watt. It's his day. His comp was Brandon Ingram, which I don't necessarily see. But I will say, and he also says that he's always talking trash, which I think is hilarious. Like, P-Watt's always talking trash. But clearly a fan of his game and expects him to be... the question was, like, who's an under-the-radar superstar? You could give a guy who's, like, a borderline all-star... You know, right? That's such a... You get so much leeway there. You could be like... You know, if you said Trey Murphy, he's already played a bunch of minutes, 2 seasons, like, okay. Peyton Watson hasn't even played, and that was his guy. What do you make of this? Everybody's a fan of P-Watt. Everybody in the NBA.
I mean, it goes to what Calvin Booth saw in the guy. Like, the pedigree, the fact that he was the number one recruit out of California, Southern California, which is as hot a bed as there is for basketball players in this country. I mean, none of us really knew what to make of the pick at the time, but like the longer it goes on and the more you see the measurables and the immeasurables, like I mean, I kind of see it. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but
I think it means he's the best open run player ever.
maybe so, dude.
Okay, I feel like that's all these guys learned to love Peyton Watson before he
Over
ever
MPJ?
played. Yeah, well,
Apparently so.
he's up there too. But, well, I mean, look, man, he's an impressive guy. And I think it's really funny to think about the levels of confidence.
Right.
And, like, in certain contexts, playing in a pickup run, feeling free, Peyton Watson can impress guys like Paul George. Now, his offensive game at the NBA level is going to take years to develop. But I wonder how many of these guys, part of it, whatever their headspace is in a pickup run, like, can they get to that place in an NBA game, but having that much belief in themselves and confidence in themselves. So we'll see what happens for Peyton Watson. But I did retweet our own episode with Calvin Booth, giving some
Good
love
work.
Oh, is
to
that
him.
okay? I was a little. I
Like,
was
why did
curious
we
as to why
retweet
it was
that right
retweeted.
now?
Yeah,
I don't know, dude.
But
Peyton
now I know.
Watson's
Now I know.
trending. I'm not sure why.
No, I think Peyton's just a good hang.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
Maybe just like hanging out with him.
It could be, man.
As
simple as
getting
that.
all the positive.
It's not as fun of a theory, to be honest with you, as like he's just a future superstar.
No, I mean we saw it. We saw. Look, like, let's not pretend it wasn't a gamble to draft him. Yeah,
Right.
didn't he have the lowest points per game of any draft pick ever?
2.
Right, like Calvin Booth did gamble, but it turns out he just paid off, and
Yeah.
you know, it was just a good draft. Him and Christian Brown, it was just a good draft.
But here's the thing, a good draft, because we all think he's going to turn into another Christian Brown. The thing I'll say is that we are so far out of prospect mode. We haven't been doing the prospect thing since
Right.
Bol Bol.
That's fair.
Right.
Like, we've just talked, you know what I mean? We're not thinking
That's
about it. And allow yourself for a moment to think, Peyton, unlike Christian, we kind of know his floor is high and his ceiling is low, I think. He's going to be a good role player. I love the idea that Peyton Watson might be a guy who's not only a great role player, but maybe someone that is above that. Like a great role player who also every now and then gives you triple-double type threat where he's rebounding a little, he's passing a little, he's scoring a little. And that's the way some of these guys talk about him. They don't talk about him like he's Christian Brown. Like, oh, yeah, that guy's tough to go over a screen against. They're like, no, this guy's a star.
He was hitting shots in my face. Yeah.
So I think that's kind of a cool little morsel for us who are not in prospect mode. All right, everybody. It's time to open up DraftKings Sportsbook. I know we got a couple super chats. We'll get to those after we open up DraftKings Sportsbook because the book closes. TNT is always on time, so we got to be quick here.
All right. First off, I like the Denver Nuggets money line in this game. I feel good about this. Like, it's the odds aren't fantastic. You're only getting minus 105, but I mean, I think that might be the foundation on which I build my same game parlay. The other people that
you like just the money line.
I like the money line, man.
I'll tell you this. I asked a friend of the show and professional gambler Tony Niehaus. He's 4 for 4 coming in tonight on predicting Nuggets wins.
Okay, baby.
Predicted a win tonight.
Let's go.
Shouts to Tony.
Wow.
Big T.
Wow.
Tony Nughouse. Let's go. There's been a lot of chatter about Michael Porter Jr. over the last day and a half, talking about, he had a great fourth quarter, but he hasn't had the ball passed to him that often. I feel like there's going to be a little bit of a correction.
Emphasis, like we're overpassing to Michael Porter.
So I definitely see I'm definitely going over 2.5 threes for Michael Porter Jr. And I'm going over 15.5 points for Michael Porter Jr. Both of those feel like they are scheduled. And we can look forward to them happening. The other thing I like in this game a lot is...
So over the points you said?
Over points, yeah. Okay. Over 15.5 points. The other thing I like is I can't imagine Phoenix is going to make many, if any, adjustments to their game plan from last game. It was pretty successful, and it netted 14 assists for Nikola Jokic. So let's go right back to that well. I imagine they're going to defend him much the same, and Nikola Jokic is going to be looking to pass the ball in the same way he did the last game. So over 8.5 assists, mark it down.
If we're doing that, do we kind of like the triple-double prop?
That's the other thing I have.
Okay.
Yes, Nikola Jokic.
Oh, breaking Wilt's record?
Breaking
Wilt's record?
Yeah, not even since Wilt. Never. Simply never. I like Nikola Jokic to pick up the triple-double tonight.
Anyone.
It has been the assist has been the bugaboo when it comes to assists this postseason. But I mean, if last game is any indication, assists will be the last thing we have to worry about. And the last one I like Aaron Gordon to make a return onto the scoring sheet. He had by his standards, a pretty down game from a scoring standpoint. Defense is something you can count on him.
Do you think he did it just so we could hammer his points over tonight?
I would think so. You don't ever know what motivates NBA athletes, but the betting segment on our show is a pretty good place to look to see where most of them get their motivation from. So yes, over 14.5 points for one Aaron Gordon. Lock them all in. They are fantastic bets.
I like it. Should we build a same-game parlay just for fun?
Let's do it, dude.
I kind of like Jokic points tonight.
I do too, actually.
I like Jokic everything, but I just have a feeling, to your point, that they liked what they saw.
Yes.
I also think they're going to try Jock Landale more tonight.
And he's going to eat him up.
And there's a chance that Jokic goes, okay, I understand the assignment now, and we're going to go over on points. So let's start with, they got the line, 27.5 is about even money. I'm going to go there, 27.5. I think he scores tonight. Let's go over to threes because they're always fun. Michael Porter, they did not look for him. And what did he have, 6 of 10 threes? They did not look for him in the last game.
I'm definitely
3+ is the par for that one right there.
Dude, I might go, 3+, maybe 4+.
You know what I'm thinking with Porter tonight is rebounds. It was what kept him on the floor in the fourth quarter, I think, in that last game. First thing Malone shouted out. And I just think it's there for him. It's Devin Booker. He's 7 feet tall. If he wants to rebound, he can rebound. I haven't seen the line.
So we can go over
Michael Porter.
Over 6.5 gets you plus money. What do you have last game? 7?
12.
No, he had 12. Yeah, I like that.
Over
Michael Porter
6.5?
Jr. rebounds, man, they have it so low, 6.5. All right, that's our
Take
thing.
6.5.
It's a Jokic and Porter kind of night. We got Jokic 27.5 points, MPJ 3 pointers, MPJ 6.5 reps. That gets you plus 65,
plus 675
or 675. I feel like that's phenomenal.
That's massive.
I love it. Lock it in. That's our single game parlay, same game parlay. All right, let's get some super chats, including a monster super chat. My goodness, get the monster one first. A 50-piece from Kyle.
Kaya Heckman. Hey, all you guys helped me win a pretty penny about 6 weeks ago.
Wow.
I haven't been able to catch the show live since. Only feels right to pop in and say thanks.
Man, nobody
That's
ever
crazy.
super chats late.
Dude, that's
You know
crazy.
what I mean? You just move on.
We got him 1 penny and he gave us $50.
That's great. That is crazy.
That must have been a very
an
pretty
investment.
penny.
That's
That's
extremely attractive penny.
Shiny.
That's me at the Golden Gate
Ana
in
de
Vegas.
Armas on that penny.
$5 win, $5 tip.
Full disclosure, we
You're
cannot
gross.
guarantee
You're
that we
gross.
will win you money. S. Williams, too, sending this walking into the footprint center. Oh, let's go. Walking stick. Hope the Nuggets step on these boys and go up 3-1. Nugs in 5. The energy is crazy.
Let's go.
Jovanovic, Lucky Charms super chat with a hit of
My name is
nostalgic
Jovan.
taste of Grandma's
Hi, guys.
Walnut Rakia.
Hey, you remember Jovan?
Hang on, is this our
Hi,
first-
guys.
Hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Hell
I mean,
yeah.
Hey guys,
The
vibes are
walnut
up.
one was, by the way, the sweetest rakia
So
I have
good.
ever tasted. I don't believe that it was actually rakia.
was
I
It was
believe
from the,
it was
from
like
the
dessert.
sweetest human.
It was the
It's
sweetest
like
human.
if Jaeger was good.
That was the walnut rakia.
Grandma's walnut rakia, man.
Cheers, Givoli.
Dude, how can we
Givoli.
lose tonight? Are you kidding me?
Oh,
no
vibes,
chance. Let's
vibes.
go. All right, everybody. Get those vibes up. Keep your attitude up. We're going to be doing the watch along live right here. The bar is popping. Throw us a like on the way out and head on over to the watch along. We'll start
Let's
up
go.
in 5 minutes.
Let's go.